Hello everybody, this is Jasmina, and in this video I'm going to talk about the concept of an element entering the graveyard. It sounds very bad, but it isn't. Now, this concept occurs during years where the branch of the year has the main chi of earth. So this is the dragon, the goat, the dog, and the ox. Those years. There is a particular element that will enter the graveyard. And I'll tell you how that works. But I would also like to thank a very kind gentleman whose initials are DY, and he knows who he is, who introduced me to the Batsa Queen. And in just one sentence, which I don't know if she realized it was so easy, but in one sentence, I knew how to do this after looking up just a little bit online exactly what this is, what is entering the graveyard. And this is the consequence of that one sentence that the Batsa Queen stated. Now, she is on YouTube. I would suggest you guys watch her too. She has some good information, although she kind of goes quite fast. So it's up to you, but she's not bad. Actually, I kind of like her. Now, what entering the graveyard means is that during that year, it is time to give up on something that isn't working for you anymore, that either has reduced returns or is more bother than it's worth. That's what we're talking about. And that is actually a good thing, of course. So whatever you're going to be giving up on usually has a positive result because you're getting rid of something you don't need. It's not to be feared. It's actually meant to renew. So when you clear out the old, you can introduce something new. That's the whole idea. You may not do it in the same year, but it will naturally come about. The new things will naturally come about after you have gotten rid of something. Now, the graveyard is also the storage. And so giving up on something, like let's say selling a property that isn't performing anymore, that gives you money to invest in something else. Now, I wouldn't invest that year, but you could use that year to research more investments, perhaps. And that will lead to bigger and better things. Maybe you'll find a better property, or maybe you'll find a better investment, and you will get a bigger return than you would have otherwise. And this again is a bit of timing, but this timing applies to everybody because we're talking about certain years. So this isn't like just it only affects one person. It affects everybody. Now, what element, the one that enters the graveyard, means to you will depend on your day master. Just like all the 10 gods in your chart, that all depends on your day master. The same element for two different people that have two different day masters will mean something different. Now, the luck pillar can also be affected by the entering the graveyard. So that is a distinct possibility. So this is a very complicated chart, but these are the years, and I've just showed you the upcoming ones. And we're still in 2024, or actually we're still in the dragon year. It's 2025 in the Gregorian calendar, but these are the elements that are in the graveyard. So you have yin wood, yin fire, yin metal, and yin water. Now, there is no yin earth in this group because these two guys are yin earth. They can't have a graveyard in themselves. And so then we just don't have these animals either. So you don't have to worry about earth here. So you only have 4 things to worry about. Now, what this 10 God relationship has to do with, what does this mean to the day master? So you find your day master here. It's yang wood, yin wood, yang fire, yin fire, yang earth, yang metal, yin metal, yang water, yin water. Same order as I always go in. And this is so you can find which is your day master. And it's just the relationship. What does this mean to this? And so forth. Now, I'm only going to really focus on one column because this is very complex, but this pattern of companion, resource, influence, wealth, output, companion, resource, influence, wealth, output. So everything is in this column, just in a different order. Same thing is true for these two. So I'm only going to focus on one column. And we still have about a week left in the dragon year, so things could still happen. And so maybe this might tell you that your inclination to get rid of something was the right inclination and you should do it as soon as possible. So let's look first at, we'll just concentrate on the dragon year because we're in the dragon year and we won't have the goat year for a while. So any wood day master, whether you're yang or yin wood, this is going to affect the companion. It'll either be rob wealth or the friend. If it's rob wealth, this probably means you should be giving up on somebody who is only taking and not giving. So rob wealth has to do with helping others, and then you're supposed to get help back in return. That's, how life is supposed to work. But there are people who only take. This is the time to get rid of somebody who only takes. If you are a yin wood day master, it basically means it's perhaps time to end a relationship. And the reason why you do this is so you can move forward, that you can get new people into your life that are better for you. That's the whole idea here. And so you're putting old friends into storage so you can get new friends. Because graveyard and storage, they're the same animal signs. So this is, it just, I guess graveyard is scarier, so people pay more attention. That's why they use graveyard instead of storage. For the fire day masters, it's resources that is being affected. Now, so if you're a yang fire day master, your DR, your ability to analyze, usually is affected, and it's usually reduced. But if it's IR, if you're a Yinwood fire day master, we're talking about more philosophical thinking, less analytical and more big picture. Now, oftentimes this particular year, they may well have found a bit more difficulty than normal concentrating. If you're in the United States and you have this, you probably were very distracted by the election. But anyway, this is basically due mostly to the fact you've got too many commitments and you have so little time. You don't have time to do the thinking that you need to do to be able to learn something new. So, or to be able to have new ideas. So that's more like the IR. So this means you need to cut something out of your life, some task, something that is stealing your time. For the Earth Day Masters, this has to do with influence. So it's either DO or 7K. Now for the Yang Earth Day Masters, this DO has to do with being a leadership position, like a manager or something like this, or the CEO of a company. What this means is this year, it is time to start delegating some stuff that you don't enjoy so much to somebody who likes to do that kind of work. So that's really, really good. Because you never enjoyed it anyway. I mean, that's the type of thing you want to get rid of. Things that don't serve you well. If you're Yin Earth, it might be time to reevaluate your priorities. Now, 7K has a lot to do with being aggressive and assertive and, standing up for your rights and perhaps even standing up for other people's rights. But here it's maybe time to pick your battles. That is, choose the things you care most about and let some of the stuff go, because otherwise it's very distracting and very hard to, you're upset all the time, basically. So if you have a very high level of 7K in your chart, in your natal chart, this is actually probably a good year for you because you've calmed down some. And you're maybe focusing a little bit more on just the most important things. And that is usually a good thing. Now, if you have a very low level of 7K, then this isn't so good, because then you basically you don't stand up for yourself at all, and you're a pushover, and things don't go well. So you have to look at your whole chart. You can't look at it in isolation. Now, the metal this dragon year has to do with wealth. And if it's DW, if you are a Yang metal day master, this has to do with work. Maybe you need to be a little more careful at work. Give up some of your leisure time so that you spend a little more time double checking, maybe even triple checking some of the trickier things that have to do with your work, so you don't get into trouble, because it's going to be a little harder for you to do your job like you did before. You're just distracted, usually. And if you're yin wood, yin metal, it's your IW. So, of course, if you're a business owner, then this is really important that you really pay attention to details. But for most people, this will be investments. So this is a time to reevaluate your investments, perhaps sell some of your poorer performers. This is not a good year to invest in new things. You sell the poor performers, and you take that money next year and you invest it. Now, this is one of the scarier ones. Of course, wealth is always a scary one, because you're could really have trouble. But in general, this isn't quite so bad. You're just looking to get rid of things that aren't working for you. And this might, in this case, also, if it's your Yang metal is your day master, maybe you'll do also delegate some work, or at least have somebody else check your work, so that that you're making sure that you're not making mistakes. Lastly, we have the water day masters, and this has to do with output. And this means that you're not going to be as successfully creative as normal. So your ideas may be a little bit off. They just won't have as much success as they might otherwise have. So this is something that you should just be aware of, and don't go out with a crazy idea and go all out on it. It doesn't hurt to look at it, but you don't want to completely commit to it, because it probably won't work out. Pieces of it might in the end, but and you might also have to give up on some ideas you've been looking at for a while that don't seem to haven't really worked out, haven't produced anything good. This is getting rid of something. So sometime you have to do that too. So it depends, again, what your situation is and how high this level is. For a very high HO, it probably is a good idea that if they have this year, because they're a little bit more circumspect, and they may change how they're acting even in the future, because they see the good that has come out of this being reduced. The EG, sometimes this also helps, because maybe you have a crazy idea you've been working on a while, and you realize this is the time to throw it out. That's totally fine. This is this might actually be the year to realize things weren't working, where you were really struggling with it before that. Now, why is it like this? It all has to do with the fact that the element that goes into the graveyard during the dragon year is yin wood. So it's yin wood's relationship to these day masters that tell you exactly what's what. So for a yang wood day master, yin wood is rob wealth. For a yin wood day master, obviously it's friend. For the fire, wood creates fire. So this is a resource, and both of these are resources. And of course, whether it's DR or IR depends if it's the opposite or the same polarity. And the influence, wood controls earth. So earth, this is its influence. So this is why you have the DO in the 7K. And for the metal, well, metal chops wood. So the day master controls this thing, so it's the wealth. That's the definition of it. And the water's output is the wood. So this is output. So this is why it looks like that. And when we look at the whole chart, this will make sense. Now, so this is the whole chart now. And so you can see that if we look companion, resource, influence, wealth, output, companion, resource, influence, wealth, output. It's the same set. It just scrolls down just like we did when we were looking at the 10 gods. You've seen this pattern before if you've been watching my stuff and maybe other people's stuff too. So this isn't a big deal in terms of understanding what these other years will do for you. I've already went through this whole thing. They're all here. Now, I did promise to tell you how this comes about. And this may help you remember it, but we have here the dragon month, or I'm sorry, the dragon month is part of a spring season. The cardinal animal in that spring season is the rabbit, and the rabbit's main chi is yin wood. The goat month is in the summer. The cardinal animal for the summer is the horse, and its main chi is ding, it's yin fire. The dog, it's in autumn. Rooster is the main chi, and this is sin metal. And the ox is in the winter. Rat is the main, or is the cardinal animal, and its main chi is yin water. These are the elements that enter the graveyard. And if you remember it this way, it's really easy to remember what's going on. So that can help you if you're in a situation and you're dealing with somebody new and you don't have the chart. I think most people can remember this. Now, remember, the graveyard is also called the storage. So it's time to put things into storage. Stop using something, sell something, and something that's less useful to you. And again, this could be ideas, it could be objects, it could be people. You just are eliminating something from your life that isn't quite working. Now, what is equally important, I think, well, maybe it's not equally important, but it's something to note. There is a property that is not being affected. And that will be whatever earth means to you. Because you noted we had wood, we had water, we had metal, and we had fire. All of those, but there was no earth in that list of the animals that go into the graveyard. So earth is, whatever earth means to you as a day master, is something that will never be affected by one of these years. And so if you are a wood day master, your wealth is unaffected. If you're a fire day master, output is unaffected. The earth day master, obviously companion is unaffected. If you're a metal day master, the resources are unaffected. And if you're a water day master, the influence is unaffected. So these are things that you do not need to worry about. These topics, these classifications, will never be affected by a graveyard year. So this is one thing you don't have to worry about. And I want to make that very, very clear because people don't always seem to be listening. Now, this is another thing. Different graveyard years of the same branch, like let's compare this dragon year to the last dragon year. They may have a different effect upon you depending on other factors. If the graveyard year's stem controls your daymaster, it is very likely that that particular year will have a much bigger effect on you than the other ones. So like if this year the wood dragon is yang wood, what does yang wood control? Yang wood controls yang earth because wood controls earth, and it's always the same polarity. So a Wu earth, that is yang earth, daymaster is very smart to delegate some of their responsibilities this year because they have the DO. Now, the yin earth does not have this. Yin wood controls yin earth. Yang wood, which is what this year is, does not. So they don't have to worry about it. Only the yang earth ones are really impacted this year. Now, if a branch happens to create a combo, it is likely to modify the effect of that particular graveyard year. And in general, it will always create a combo. That is, if you, let's say the ox creates a seasonal combination for you, then the ox is probably not going to be such a problem. Any ox year is probably not going to be such a problem if that element it creates is good for your chart. It's maybe something you're weak on, and so that helps it, or maybe it even strengthens something that you already have that would otherwise be impacted. So it has a kind of a balancing relationship. Now, your natal level may also play a role in how strongly you are affected and whether that effect is positive or negative. For example, if you have an unhealthy high level of whichever of the 10 gods is being affected, that reduces it. That actually puts you into a healthy level, and it can be a healthy high level, and you may make a lot of progress. But if your level is very low and it's being affected, it tends to be more negative. So you really have to look at your whole chart to know how these graveyard years may affect you. So as I always do, I give some personal experience. I would say that most dragon years, I don't really see a big difference, but and this is a little vague because it was like 30 years ago, but I think this was the year when I definitely decided I wasn't going to marry my fiance. But I knew it was going to be hard to end it because he had gotten ridiculously possessive. And it didn't really come to a head until the snake year, which was, of course, the next year. And snake year is a clash year for me. So that was just, let's say, the timing. So, but I would say that it's a little hard for me to tell, is it really that year? Because for 4 or 5 years before the snake year, our relationship was already going downhill. And but I really think it was this year that I said that, I got to get away from this guy, and I just have to figure out how. And so, of course, I wasn't paying as much attention to him as I had been, And I think he felt that, and so then he got even more controlling. So that didn't seem to work. But ultimately, he crossed the line and in the snake year, and then it was over. Now, for me, my friend level, because this is what it's going to affect, is above average, but it's not very high. It's just a little bit above average. So this may be why I don't really have too much effect from this. Maybe it brings it down to an average level, which is fine. So, like I said, it depends on what level you have in your chart, how much of a negative effect this might have. So let's go to the goat year. Now, these are all in the past. These are just the years coming up. This has happened all to me in the past. I had a real breakthrough in my research, but this was also the year I decided to quit doing research because I met my goal and I was ready to move on to do all the other things I've been wanting to do and putting off. So, but I do also want to note that this is a year, any goat year is a year that completes my 3 harmony combo. And the resulting element is companion. Now, for me, since I'm a wood day master, this means more growth and more learning, which kind of helps explain why I could have a breakthrough. So, so you have 2 competing things going on here. This one is trying to bring it down, but the combo is putting it up in this case, or at least making it more available so that I can produce something. Now, the EG, which is what would be affected here, is in the average range. But then again, the 3 harmony combo actually helps me learn. So there's that balancing, and it may just cancel each other out. Now, these 2, honestly, I can't remember anything specific in the past on these particular year animals. And like for 7K, my 7K is in the average range, so maybe it brings it down a little. But I can't specifically remember any specific thing that happened during a certain year where I stopped caring about something. Maybe I wasn't quite as vocal about it, but I can't remember any of that. Now, the ox years, again, I haven't really noticed, but my natal level is quite high for the IR, but it's not unhealthy high. Now, my DR is considered unhealthy high, but that's not affected because I have a yin wood day master. It's only the IR. So, so maybe I don't think, maybe I become more analytical and less philosophical on these years. But again, I can't pick out any memory that tells me this has happened. Now that I know about it, maybe I will see it. Maybe because I'll be on the lookout for it. But, you know, I can't remember anything. So, this is something to note. A yang, any yang metal, or any yang element, but a yang day master, they will only be able to have that nasty double whammy of the year stem controlling their day master during the dragon or the dog years. And that's because those years also have yang stems, and the control is always the same. So yang wood controls yang earth. Yin wood controls yin earth. So, so you don't. So if you have a yang day master, it has to be the dragon or the dog if you're going to have a problem, like a double whammy problem. Yin day masters, they will only have that year stem being able to control their day master during the goat and the ox years, because those have yin stems, because they're yin animals. So if we look at this, there'll be one animal sign, there'll be one day master that will be affected most by each one of these years. These are all dragon years, and it's wood, fire, earth, metal, water. Standard pattern. And so wood controls earth. So they'll have a bigger DO effect this year. So if you are a Yang Earth Daymaster, you probably felt something this year. That you maybe felt a little overwhelmed and you wanted to delegate. Hopefully you did delegate, because that would improve your life. But you might not have, because you didn't know this. The next one coming up, the next dragon coming up, is the fire dragon in 2036. And this is going to affect the Yang metal Daymasters the most. And unfortunately, this is the wealth. So they have to be really careful this year. In 2048, it'll be Earth Dragon. This affects the water the most, because Earth muddies water. And it will affect their HO. So they'll be more circumspect that particular year, which may be good, may not. It depends on what's in their chart. 2060, we have the metal dragon. Metal chops wood, so it's the wood dragon, or the wood Daymasters that will be affected the most, and this is RW. They may be able to get rid of people that only suck energy out of them. So this often isn't bad. And then in 2072, it's the water dragon, and the fire is going to be affected, and that has to do with DR, their analytical ability. Now the next one will be 2084, which is 60 years from this year. And so each pillar only comes around once every 60 years. So this is unlikely to affect you twice. You may have already been in your past, or it could be in your future. And but that year, let's say you want to be extra careful. And know exactly what's going on. So this is the ones for the dog. So I'm doing the Yang ones first. And so these are all the same, but what is affected is different. And so again, this is the years that it's going to happen in the future. And of course, it's happened in the past too. So, and the pattern is always the same. So then the one before this, 12 years before this, was a water dog. So, and this is for the goat. Now these are going to affect the yin animals, the yin Daymasters, I should say, not yin animals. And this is what it affects. So you notice that these are all the same polarity, because these are the same polarity. Now, this is the ox years, and this is what it affects. And of course, this is all the same. So again, you're unlikely to see two of these unless you live beyond 120 years old. And either the first one or the last one isn't going to be a big deal for you, because you'll be either too young or too old to care. Now, in summary, you should not be concerned about these years. They're a time for getting rid of the old so you can have new things come along. So you can think of it as a figurative spring cleaning, getting rid of the unproductive parts of your life. So this can be very, very good. But it can also be a little painful if you are on the weak end of whatever is being attacked by the graveyard. Now, this can also appear in your luck pillar, and it can have a larger effect on your life because it lasts 10 years instead of 1 year. And everybody will have the same 4 pillars they need to worry about. Their dragon pillar, the goat pillar, the dog pillar, and the ox pillar. Now, if that particular luck pillar has a stem that controls your Daymaster, it's probably going to be even more dramatic. And some people will have this combination, others won't. My husband actually had this combination when he started college, and it was affecting his HO. And so he wasn't, he kind of kept to the background. Other people, I don't have this. I don't have this combination of the stem and the and one of the years that actually the stem doesn't clash along with either. For me, it'll have to be the goat or the ox year because I have a Yinwood Daymaster, or I have a Yin Daymaster, and but I just don't have that combination. It doesn't occur in my luck pillar. But I do have, of course, the goat and the ox. They just don't coincide with the element, that the heaven stem of the year that controls my my Daymaster. Now, you want to look at the luck pillars that are the dragon, the goat, the dog, and the ox. These are the ones that will automatically have a graveyard thing going on for roughly 10 years. Now, everybody will have 4 luck pillars that will affect some aspect of their life, but most people only experience 2 or 3 of these. Depends on exactly where your luck pillars start. And there are people who could have 4, but they have to have either very long lives, well, certainly longer than average lives now, but also they have to have like the first luck pillar having one of these animal signs, and that doesn't always happen. So this is basically the same table, but all I've done is replace the year with the words luck pillar, and it works exactly the same way. And so during let's say a wood dragon year, or wood dragon luck pillar, a wood dragon luck pillar, yang wood, because it's a dragon, which is yang, will be affecting yang earth. So their influence during that luck pillar, and it will be DO, this will be a lot less. So that's just the way it is. And this is the only one who have the double effect. Everybody else has the single effect. Just the fact that their luck pillar is the dragon luck pillar. So I've gone through 2 of these. I hope to make it to a 3rd. I very much doubt I'll make it to a 4th. But this dragon luck pillar occurred during these years, and these are the Gregorian years. These were basically my grad school years, or the last part of, well, the transition from undergraduate to graduate school was here, and then it did take me a while to get my degree because I quit for a while. But I did lose touch with a lot of friends because this is supposed to affect my companion. But in general, that's not unusual at that age, especially if you leave your hometown. You easily lose touch with people, especially if you move more than a few times. You simply just lose touch. Now, same thing, but the thing is I gained basically as many friends as I had lost touch with. So I didn't see a big effect there. They were just different people. And maybe the old people were people that it was just as good I got rid of. Or I can't say I got rid of them. I still consider them my friends. I just don't have much contact with them. Now, the interesting thing is this particular year, and it is a dragon year, but I'm not in my dragon pillar. I've regained some contact with some undergraduate friends. That is, in college, but not in grad school, and also some really good friends through Phi Design. I mean, not all my clients become friends, and not all my friends that I gained through Phi Design actually are my clients. So this is So this doesn't seem to be affecting me a whole lot. But maybe it's because I'm getting rid of, you know, people that I've maybe even forgotten about now, you know. Uh, it's been a very busy year. Now, I also went through the goat luck pillar. This was also my sixth luck pillar, and that affects everybody's career. But again, the goat completes a three harmony combo for me. So that has a mitigating effect here. So it affects, this would affect my EG. This would affect my output. But the three harmony combo has a tendency to cancel that out. And that's just because of what the three harmony combo gives me. So I designed, I drafted, and received a building permit for a house we are still trying to build. Now, this last year of this luck pillar was the year my nephew was killed by the drunk driver, and and the build has been messed up ever since because I was relying on his muscle, and this changed, so we have to hire people. So that became an issue with money, and so that was the tight thing. But it's moving along now, slowly but surely. Now, I also learned a lot more advanced feng shui. I created the idea for Phi Design, and much of the files that I now sell, I mean, I created the information that went into those files. It's not exactly in the same format, but I created that information that's all output. Now, what does my three harmony give me? It gives me wood. And wood is a companion for me, but also it's wood, so it gives me growth. And so, and being able to learn. So it didn't really seem to affect me very much. Now, I didn't have any job offers, but I also barely looked for work. My husband, I mean, we had paid off our house. My husband's income was enough for us. I didn't have to work. I did apply for some jobs, but I never even got a call back. PhDs in physics scared the heck out of most employers, so I wasn't surprised. So that's it. I hope you find this useful, and not to be afraid of graveyard years or even graveyard luck pillars. Sometimes these things can be very good for you. Uh, you have to, of course, look at your whole chart. But I really hope that this does help you understand this concept, which isn't very well discussed elsewhere. Thanks again for watching.